What is happening, guys? Mathematic is back again. You know where we are, so let's get into it. So, guys, this is a quick catch up for you. Thank you very much for the comments, likes, and subscriptions. We do keep it going, and the channel is growing, guys. Without further ado, I'm not gonna get necessarily into the note breakdown of this fragrance. I've done a quick first impressions already on this one, so I just want to get into it and give you my thoughts. So, 12 hours later, guys, what are my thoughts on this one now? So as we talk about, guys, I said there was a number of new fragrances that came out, again, all within this particular type of box. Nothing particularly great about it, but at the end of the day, it was eau de parfum. How did I find this fragrance? So just give it another spray so you can see again. For me, guys, I want to say it's got, again, a level of unboxing in the base. There is a level of unboxing when it starts to cool down. Giving you an idea, in all honesty, guys, the issue with this, again, is coming down to projection. The longevity is slightly more improved because I think there's an unboxing in the base, as I say, from what I can smell. Maybe an element of tonka bean as well gives a slight sweetness. But for me, the duration of this fragrance, guys, are probably not getting longer from it. Probably more than about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And again, the opening is slightly sweeter with this. I think there's a sage note in there with this type of tonka bean. And again, I feel it's like an unboxing note in there. It does seem to dry down and takes it along the line of Dior Sauvage. For those, obviously, in respect of this particular fragrance. But for me, guys, unfortunately, there's just nothing really more I can say than it's just a so-so fragrance. It's not one that's going to get you noticed. It's not one that really stands out enough. I know people say that there's a metallic note on this one, Dior Sauvage, and it's a little bit too much for some people. Slightly chemically to some extent. But I think, obviously, the quality and ingredients in this one is completely different. The two aren't like for like. This is the only sort of comparator I could say. Somebody mentioned, I think, is it number 2? I mean, there's similarities, but I think where they differ again is the base notes. The base notes seem to differ for me, as I say, this unboxing element that seems to be slightly more in this one, and it gives it that type of salty vibe. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice fragrance, it's okay, but I think, guys, in the game that we're in now, this to me, again, is unfortunately, is a bit of a letdown. There's just nothing really coming from it beyond this type of salty note. The opening is what it is, but there's not really much more I can say about it. Projection, I mean, again, the projection's not really there. Within the first 20 minutes, the projection really dies down, and you just get this salty sort of unboxing note for the duration of probably about an hour on my skin. After that, I didn't really notice it anymore. So that sort of let me down, to be honest, guys. I'm struggling to find much to say about it, guys. 12 hours later, what can I say? Price point, $50.99, is it worth it? Probably not. I probably wouldn't purchase this again. I'm also going to obviously be sending out some decants as well to those guys who did do their comments in the previous video. So by all means, I'm going to link that in there. So well done, those guys. I'll pick something out and I'll let you know in the next video who's won. And in respect of, as I say, price point, so not really for me. Longevity, it's not really there. It's lacking on longevity. Struggling really, to be honest, guys. Projection, nothing really to project. Maybe in the high heat, don't get me wrong, maybe in the high heat, but in the winter months right about now, it's not really breaking through the cold. It's just not strong enough for that. It's too faint. It's like it's waning. It's like it could be there, but it's like there's a lack of this. And I'm pretty confident now, I think, with this seems to be eau de parfum. But to be honest, guys, a lot of the EDTs that came out previously seem to have a lot more in respect of, I want to say, strength and power to them. That's the only way I can describe it. What's really lacking in these fragrances, guys, is I don't think the actual fragrance themselves are actually that bad in respect of the smell, but I think the actual letting down point is going to come down to these key elements: longevity and projection. And if something's going to project maybe for an hour, I don't mind reapplying, that's fine. But if I'm struggling for projection and then I'm struggling for longevity, it makes me think, what's the point of it? And I don't know what the breakdown, the composition of the fragrance really is. When it says eau de parfum is supposed to last longer, we usually know that normally eau de parfums don't necessarily project in the same way because the oil composition is different to that of EDT, and there's more of these essential oils in it. I would have thought the concentration's more increased, and therefore it's to last longer on your skin. But it doesn't seem to really last long on my skin. There's EDTs I could give, for example, or older versions of EDTs from Zara that seem to last long on my skin compared to this, which is classed as eau de parfum, which I really don't understand understand. I'm not fully sure as to the science behind that, and now I'm actually going to invest the time and look a bit more into the science of perfumery, guys, because I think this is something that's starting to, it feels like it's a personal sort of, not vendetta as such, but I need to find out for myself more about the science behind what's going into this, because for me, average on the street, you go and purchase a fragrance, you check it out in the shop, guys, you smell the fragrance, and you think, oh, within the first few seconds, oh wow, that smells nice, I'll buy this alongside my clothes. But for us guys who are really into fragrances, for us guys who are really the fragrance enthusiasts that really want to know about fragrance, for me, guys, we need to understand a lot more. And I'm going to try and take that journey, guys. And I want to take you with me along that journey in respect to perfumery. But as it stands right about now, this for me, guys, is lacking. As I say, those three key elements: price point, longevity, projection. I can't even talk about compliments because it's not projecting enough for compliments. At least with this one, obviously, it's a different type of pedigree. It's a completely different thing, different type of market. So I can't really say the like for like, because they're not. It's not. It won't be right to compare the two. But in all honesty, though, guys, I would say you could get your nose on it. It's pleasant. It's okay. It's just okay. These fragrances to me now, guys, say are a little bit of a waste of time. I want to give you recommendations as to what I would advise you to wear. There's a fragrance I just purchased recently that I think it was Ginseng, is it Ginseng? Jensen's did a review on it, and I actually picked this up in my local Superdrug. I was passing that and I saw it was on sale as well. And that other fragrance, I'm going to do a review on that separately because I think it deserves a shout. I think that other fragrance, which you'll see in the next video, that other fragrance has a lot more going for it. And if that had come from Zara, I would have been totally happy with it. But this one, for some reason, I don't know what the issue is, guys. I'm really struggling to understand these fragrances anymore. I don't know what's going on. I understand maybe it's a cost thing. Maybe it's just a situation of reduce the quality of ingredients going into it. Let's just get something out easily. Let's make it reminiscent of another type of fragrance, but not enough that it really has anything in respect of lasting power. I think the majority of people, guys, that purchase obviously these fragrances, maybe I'm expecting too much. Maybe these fragrances are more, as it says, for someone who's literally just going, their focus is the clothes, and they just happen to see this fragrance, smell it, and think, yeah, I might get that with my clothes. It's not bad fragrance, guys. Maybe you'll have more joy with it than I have. But for all the other details, guys, please check out the previous video when I did my first impressions with the note breakdown and everything else, because I'm just quite disappointed with this now. I will be, as I say, trying to vary the channel in respect of what we're going to look at. I want to talk about some men's shaving products as well, guys, because if you have sensitive skin like me, there's certain things that necessarily I'm concerned about when I put it on my skin. Equally for the type of fragrances as well. Say, for instance, this one, I had quite a bad experience with this one. This is, excuse me, Duo Fragrances. And this one, guys, is, again, Casino Royale, which is a take on Baccarat Rouge. And again, I actually got a rash wearing this fragrance. So now, guys, again, we're going to get into about sensitive skin and also about the fragrances and the impact that can have. But for me, 12 hours on, I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what to say. Can't even ask ladies for their opinion, because if you spray this immediately, yes, you get a waft of this type of whether it's sage, this type of greenery, you know, maybe some of this tonka, but that's really it. There's nothing else there for me to talk about. There's nothing else for me to go on beyond that. And once it starts to settle down, yes, you do get this type of salty ambroxan note, which I say is reminiscent of the Eau Sauvage, but there's nothing else. There's nothing else for me to say. I think it's too expensive for what it is. I don't think you're getting value for money for this one. And I think, unfortunately for me, this is one that will just fade away. There's nothing else to talk about. And it leaves me just thinking to myself, what is the point now? That's all I could say. So, guys, if you want to have a moment of silence, what is the point? I'll leave you guys to think about that. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for your comments, likes, and subscriptions. I try my best to be as how could I say, give you guys as much value when it comes to these videos. So I do appreciate it. You guys have actually shown a lot of support for the video so far. The channel is continuing to grow. So if you do like my reviews, and I hope I've saved you some money, please do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. If you want to make a donation, by all means do so. The PayPal link is down below, and I will get on with the next video, guys. But unfortunately, there's not much I can say about it. There's just nothing for me to say. Get your nose on it, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Have you tried this fragrance? Do you think it's a good fragrance? Do you think it's worth the money? Do you think it's worth $15.99 or how many other euros it is in your country? Do you feel this is worth the time to invest, to go to a shop and try a fragrance and be so disappointed as I am? You let me know, guys. Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know. But I just don't particularly feel this as much going for it, guys, unfortunately. Ciao!